What's up? Welcome to the AVL Talks with Phase 2. If you didn't notice, we have recently rebranded to Phase 2, no longer Broader Music AVL. So welcome to the now. And here with me in the now, I have my good buddy Joel Cosand. We flew him out from Nashville to help us with marketing stuff and videography. Thanks for the camera angle here.
It's not how that works, but yeah, that's fine.
Joel has worked in a ton of projects with certain companies, such as the Navy. He's worked with Ford Motors. He's worked with projects with FedEx and awards shows, music videos, on and on. It's like every time we hang out with him and pull up YouTube, he's like, "Oh yeah, I shot that," and we're like, "Oh, that's good. That's like a 40 million view video." And really, no, I'm being goofy, but he has done a very overwhelming amount of things for the age of 23. Tons of great opportunities that God's brought his way, and he's always given credit to God for it, which is cool. I respect that in you, by the way, a lot. So talk to me a little bit about how you got into the game of videography and what you do now.
Yeah, man. It's funny. I actually started as a family business, and now it is still a family business. But
Shout out family business.
Yo. No, but my dad, when I was like 12 or something, got me a little iMac and was like, "I will buy you Final Cut if you learn how to edit." And I was like, "Oh yeah, for sure." So he bought it for me. I started just capturing home videos. We used to have like a VHS converter that I would digitize everything. It was sick. And so from there, I just started editing home videos, was always out in the yard with my friends filming stuff. That led to an internship in high school. I didn't actually go to college for this. I just did internships in high school with some people in Nashville, Tennessee. No, but actually though, like I was afforded so many opportunities just to go straight into the workforce, and I knew what I wanted to do and met a lot of great people along the way that afforded me some great opportunities. And just was so blessed, man. From there, it was just working from job to job, continuing to learn. And then I now co-own a production company / AVL integration, similar to what you all do. But I'm so thankful we're amazing friends, and we're on different coasts, so we're rocking it. But yeah, so running that production company and doing anything from commercials to music videos to documentaries to everything in between. So
it's awesome. Yeah, I'm glad we're friends too. We love taking the abundant mentality of, you do the same thing we do, and we're homies about it, so it's whatever. Like, we don't worry about crossing paths in any way, and we joked about, like, let's claim Phoenix, you claim Nashville. What would you say the purpose of video is in the church? Whether that be filming and broadcasting it, or live streaming it, or I guess in raw form, explain what you feel the value is of a video camera in a church building.
Totally. I mean, we're literally on the hopefully upward trend now of a pandemic that we've been in, and I think Facebook went through a series of large crashes the first few weeks that they announced stay-at-home orders and different things like that due to so many churches trying to live stream, and we're now in an age where the large majority of people are online, and so being able to not just, I've never seen video as a way to be relevant, more as a way to effectively communicate and reach people. So it's, I feel like it can be so overhyped as like, oh, you're not relevant if you don't do video, but I just think you're underutilizing the tools that may be readily available to you to use. So it's such a great medium for communication that can be used, properly or improperly. But it's such an effective way to communicate with not only your congregation, but also outreach, reaching the people that wouldn't necessarily be in your four walls of your church on a Sunday morning. I think this pandemic has really made a lot of people open up and realize that the church is not just four walls.
Yeah.
And that is huge right now for us.
Speaking of video cameras in churches being an awesome tool to utilize to reach outside the four walls, video stuff is not cheap. And unless listeners have large budgets or go to very large churches, it is easy to say, whoa, that camera cost me how much money? And they want to go, drop $300 total on an entire video system when, cameras alone are upwards of $1,500 at the bottom, $2,000. So how would you justify churches that don't have an extreme budget, because they don't need to hear this, but the churches that are, that's a little pricey. We got to spend how much for the camera, how much for the live stream setup, how much for the computer to run it, how much do we need to pay an editor, how much, speak to that a little bit in terms of the financial side of having to pay for that stuff, since it's clearly not free.
Totally. I think I totally understand there's a huge pressure on the church and elders and leadership to make decisions when it comes to money, just because they are accountable to the rest of the church body, and that's a huge responsibility, and I don't think that should ever be taken lightly. So typically when a church is approaching me, and then I'm coming back with numbers, typically there's almost always a shock factor or resistance, but I never take that as an offense. It's always look, I know you highly value the money that you've been given, because at the end of the day, it's not ours. It's not any of ours. So when it comes to spending money, honestly, and this is a lot of times my promise to my clients, is I will never just spend your money, on anything. I put a lot of thought into, is this the best product for them? You and I have had so many discussions of, you don't need the best thing out there, but we're also not going to give you a piece of junk. We want something that's going to last, but do the job.
Yes.
And you're not going to just, come in one Sunday morning, 6 months after we install it, and it's like a piece of junk, and you're like, it doesn't work. Obviously, certain things happen, but putting in at least a quality piece of gear, it doesn't have to be the latest, highest tech. But, I've always been a firm believer in invest money in something that is going to set you up for success. Don't just waste money. Yeah. So trying to help clients find the balance of what is a quality piece of gear in something you need versus something you don't need is always tricky, but I think there's always a balance that can be struck, though, when it comes to quality and price and just technical capabilities. So.
Let's get a shout out for quality over quantity. Honestly.
Always.
Well, and off script too, as you're talking, it makes me think of when we first had our kickoff meeting this Monday. I had asked, and I want you to share with the people too that could get value out of this, for editors and people who have to go through that grunge, because we didn't just walk in and there was cameras set up and ready to go. Like, this is a process. You have to build up energy. You have to be ready. We have to go over this, and then editing is going to be a big process. So how do you encourage the editors, encourage the process goers that have to go through the trench of, the creative process, which is, we got such a sick idea, and I guess it's a pretty good idea, and then in the middle of all the process, this is the dumbest thing we've ever done, I don't want to go any further, to, I guess this is kind of cool, to, this is the greatest thing ever. So encourage us at those middle points of the trough of excitement and energy for doing the process of this that takes so long.
I don't even remember what I told you about this.
Encourage people who have to go through that grungy process of editing, and hours and hours. It's not just boom, a flashy product.
Just in the worldly sense, or in the church specifically?
I mean, I guess it's slightly targeted to churches, but just in general, video editors and people who are maybe beginners to this that don't realize how much work it takes to put into this process.
I've experienced every part of the process. I've experienced pre-production. I've experienced production. And
how many terabyte drives do you have at your house?
Way too many.
He said he has
more than
100
terabytes
of data.
But the one thing that is always one of the biggest challenges is overcoming creative block, and just not even creative block, but just process block. You're I've been doing the same thing for so many days in a row. I'm just done. Even if it's just processes, and sometimes you have to either do something creative if that's your outlet, or and what's worked best for me is I've found ways throughout the day to split it up so that I don't sit around for an entire 12-hour day without at least getting up and walking around, taking a break and making some phone calls, responding to some emails on my phone by going outside and walking, whatever the case may be, anything you can do to get up and get your blood flowing a little bit. But if you can do those little things throughout the day, it'll make consecutive days doing it easier, because there's been so many times where I've been I'll be into a project that's going to take me a month, and it's 2 weeks in, and I'm like, there's no way I can do another day and be productive in this. It just feels like I can't move one more clip, I can't listen to this person say one more thing in this video, and you just have to take it day by day and break it down and really find out what works for you, because at the same time, not everything that I do is going to work for everybody else, but at the same time, what they do isn't going to work for everybody else either. So it's just finding out what's the best way for you to break up your time, keep it fun, keep it interesting, but also there will be days where you just have to, put your nose to the grindstone and go too, because I can tell you too, just from personal experience, sometimes it just takes discipline. At the end of the day, you can do everything. You can eat right, you can, exercise, all those things, and you can still have a awful day and just have to grind it out. So whatever it takes for you to, be the most effective, person, especially when it comes to monotonous process tasks, whatever that is.
For sure. I've always wondered how people who video edit or produce songs or write songs or whatever, you have to hear that song over and I get sick of hearing the song 4 times, like played at my church, but there are people that are behind it that have to listen over and over, and you got to keep fresh perspective, and I can imagine the fatigue is so heavy that you're like wanting to go on a trip every 3 days out of town or something crazy, like take a flight. So it's a good thing that you do anyways. But I know your time is limited, man, and you're an expensive, awesome man, so we're going to cut this one a little shorter than the other podcasts we've done, but thanks for being on the show and giving the Phase 2 community a little bit of value. So if you want more content like this, like, comment, subscribe, smash that subscribe button, as we love to say around here. If you like this sort of stuff, share it with anybody you know that this might encourage. We're out here to bring value to the people and help the kingdom grow through audio video lighting. So appreciate you guys for listening. Joel, appreciate you, man.
Thanks, bro.